From the ancient streets of Baghdad, where the river carried secrets and the night was filled with stories, comes one of the most tragic tales ever told, the Three Apples. There lived a poor fisherman. Every day he cast his net into the Tigris River and hoped Allah would send him a little food. But one morning his net became heavier than ever before. He pulled and pulled, thinking he had caught many fish. But when the net rose from the water, inside was a large locked wooden chest. The fisherman was afraid. Was it treasure or something cursed? He broke the lock. Inside was the body of a beautiful young woman cut into pieces. The fisherman screamed and ran to the palace guards. The news reached the ruler of Baghdad, Caliph Harun al-Rashid. When the caliph saw the body, his heart burned with anger. He said, "Who did this? Who dares kill an innocent woman in my city?" He turned to his minister. "Vizier Jafar, you have 3 days to find the murderer. If you fail, you will die in his place." Jafar bowed, shaking with fear. He knew that when the caliph gave an order, no one escaped it. Jafar sent guards to every street, every market, every house. He questioned merchants, travelers, and soldiers, but nobody knew anything. On the first day, there was nothing. On the second day, still nothing. On the third day, the sun set, and the mystery remained unsolved. Jafar returned to the palace with tears in his eyes. He stood next to the executioner's sword. The caliph raised his hand. Just before the sword fell, a man from the crowd shouted, "Stop! I am the one who killed her." Everyone turned and looked. The man was shaking, his clothes torn, his face pale. He said, "Yes, she was my wife. Let me tell you why." The man began his story. "My wife became sick. She was weak, pale, and could not eat. The doctor told me nothing will cure her except 3 rare apples from the Caliph's private orchard. So I traveled for 15 days, through mountains, storms, and hunger, until I reached the orchard. I begged the guards to let me buy 3 apples. I paid with everything I owned, and when I returned home, my wife took 1 bite and smiled for the first time in months." The court listened in silence. Weeks later, the husband went to the market. There he saw a slave boy playing with a golden apple. He asked, "Where did you get this?" The boy laughed and said, "My mistress gave it to me. Her husband is sick, so she gave me this apple as a gift." The man froze. The apple was one of the 3. He ran home, blind with jealousy and anger. He shouted at his wife, "Who did you give the apple to?" His wife, weak and confused, tried to speak, but his rage was stronger than reason. In a moment of madness, he struck her, and she died. When his anger ended, he looked at her body. He realized what he had done. He cried and begged for forgiveness, but it was too late. Then his young son entered the room holding something, a golden apple. The boy said, "Father, please don't be angry at Mother. I took the apple. I gave it to a slave in the street because he was hungry." The man collapsed to the floor. He understood the truth. His wife was innocent. To hide his crime, he cut her body and placed it inside a chest, then threw it into the river. When the husband finished speaking, the palace was silent. Even the caliph felt sorrow. But before judgment was given, a slave entered the hall. In his hand was one of the 3 apples. The same one. He admitted he had stolen the apple from the boy and sold it in the market. The husband had killed an innocent woman because of a thief and a lie. The caliph stood and said, "You have already been punished. Every day of your life will be pain." He spared the husband's life, for his guilt was stronger than death. But he turned to Jafar. "You did not solve the case. You discovered nothing, and justice must be completed." So the caliph ordered, "You have 3 more days. Find the slave who stole the apple, or you will die instead." Jafar went home in despair. His mind was broken. His family was crying, knowing his death was near. Then, on the morning of the 3rd day, while returning home, he saw 2 small children in the street fighting over something round and golden. He walked closer. It was the apple. He brought the children to the palace. Their parents came. And finally, the truth was revealed. It was their father, a servant in Jafar's own house. He had stolen the apple from the slave and given it to his children. The Caliph looked at Jafar and said, "At last, the mystery is solved, not by swords, but by patience." He forgave everyone except the thief, for his lie had destroyed an innocent family. And so the story of the 3 apples ended. 1 apple for the sick woman, 1 apple for the jealous husband, 1 apple for the thief. A single lie, a single act of anger was enough to break a home. In the days of kings and palaces, justice was sharp like a sword, but mercy was stronger. Think before you accuse, think before you judge. 1 word can save a life or destroy it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more tales from history and legend. We'll see you in the next one.